So I'm making a carrot cake, and I'm gonna do it in 2 stages. I'm making it a couple days ahead of time. It's for Saturday. So this is my neighbor's recipe. It's a very good carrot cake recipe. First thing we need is a food processor. I got my grating blade attachment connected, and basically we're gonna grate 2 cups of carrots. So let me get that done. And the big ends may not pass through, so you may have to kind of shave them. But basically I put it on high and just send it down the chute. And this thing works pretty good. This is a KitchenAid brand, and I forget how many capacity, but it works very well. So let me get them all grated, then I'll measure them out for 2 cups. And here's 1 cup. And that's how the consistency of the carrots look. That thing does a real good job. I'm really impressed with it. I've been having it for a few years now, so it's not a new model. So let me go ahead and get another cup measured. So I got 2 cups of sugar, cane sugar, and I got 1 cup of vegetable oil. And basically we're going to mix the oil with the sugar, and using a blender we're going to blend this till it's very smooth. So it's going to be a little while. Alright, go ahead and crack your 4 eggs. I always crack them in a dish first. That way if you got any shells you'll see them and be able to take them out. Now we'll go ahead and blend this up until it's well incorporated. I like to take a silicone spatula because it forms to the sides of the bowl. And just kind of scrape the bowl down to make sure you got all the, get it well incorporated. And we'll mix it a few minutes more. Alright, we're going to add our dry ingredients with the flour. Here's our salt. Here's our baking soda. And here's our cinnamon. Let me get a fork and I'm going to mix that up pretty good. Actually, I'm going to use my little small whisk and just kind of get it incorporated. Alright, get you another bowl here. And I got my colander, and now we'll go ahead and just pour our mixture. And basically we're doing this to make sure there's no lumps in it. My baking soda had a few lumps in it, and basically just kind of pick it up and just kind of do like this with it, and that'll get it all nice and sifted. See, there's some lumps in there, so and I'm gonna probably do this twice. And I'll just take my whisk and just kind of break up the clumps. That way everything will be sifted through it. And I will do it one more time for good measure, just to make sure everything's nice and lump free. And just same thing, just kind of do like this again with it, and that'll make sure everything's nice and smooth. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and add our flour, and I'm going to do this in about 2 different steps. We kind of add a little bit. I'm going to take my whisk, and I'm just kind of whisk it in. Then I'll keep adding until I get it all blended together. And we got the last little bit here. I'm not going to be using my blender no more. And basically go ahead and this is the last little bit. I'll scrape down the sides just to make sure I get everything nice and incorporated. And to finish it off, we're going to add our, this is our vanilla. And we're going to also add our grated carrots, 2 cups. And we're not using a mixture no more. We're just going to use our little silicone mixing spoon. And I'm going to just go ahead and get it to where it's just incorporated. So let me get that done. And I think the folding technique works pretty good. Just kind of keep turning your pan and folding it on top. And eventually it'll all be nice and incorporated. And the original recipe called for a 9x13 pan, but I want to make a double layer cake. So I'm using two 9-inch pans, and I'm using this Baker's Joy. This stuff really makes it non-stick. The recipe called for oil, but I'm using Baker's Joy. So we just lightly spray our pans. And let me get that done. And just so I can get an even amount in each pan, I'm gonna use my little one cup measurer here, and that way they'll both be the same. And just start putting them in basically. So let me get them divided. So I got them both about even now. 2 cups, and I just started doing spoon, 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 spoon until I got it all equaled out. So should be pretty identical now. Now we're gonna bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for 20 to 35 minutes. 25 to 35 minutes. But I'll test it with a toothpick. And basically we'll stick them in the middle. About halfway through the cooking, actually probably about 10 minutes, I'm gonna actually change the pan locations in the oven just so they get a nice even cook to them. I'll put this one to the back and that one to the front after about 10 minutes. All right, one of them did cook faster than the other one, even though I changed them around in the oven. This one here cooked first, so I took it out first. I let this one go another 5 minutes. So they're both done now. I inserted a toothpick in the center. They come out clean. Basically, we're gonna let it cool, then we'll take them out the pan. So my cakes are pretty much cool now. This is the way I like to take them out the pan. Just kind of get you a little plate. Tap it a few times, and it should fall right out. And then to reinvert it, get you another plate, put on top of it. And there you go, perfect cake. So I'm gonna get them both out. And in case you missed it the first time, I'll film the other one too here. Just gonna tap it a few times, and eventually it'll fall right out. Get you another plate, invert it. Perfect cake every time. So there's my 2 cakes. So I got my carrot cake layers done. Got them out the pans. Wax paper, wax paper. I'm gonna put a wax paper on top. Then I'm gonna go ahead and seal the whole thing with the lid. I'm gonna clamp it down and actually put the whole thing in the freezer. Now we'll go ahead and make the icing for the carrot cake. And basically in the microwave, we're going to soften 1 stick. This is unsalted butter. And 1 block of the 8-ounce Philadelphia cream cheese. And not all the way melted, but you want them real soft. So let me get that done first. Alright, first thing we'll do is take our butter. And like I said, it's not all the way melted. Almost melted, but not all the way melted. And also our cream cheese. Get something to scrape that out with. And here's our cream cheese. Go ahead and put that in there. Like I said, it's not all the way melted. And we're not going to add the vanilla yet, because I find it's better not to overwork the vanilla. So that's everything. Now let me go ahead and get the blender ready, and we'll start blending it up. Basically, you want it to be nice and smooth. And I'm gonna start out with probably the low setting, and I'll gradually increase it. All right, at this point we'll go ahead and add our vanilla to it. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm gonna mix this probably for about a minute, and I think that'll get it nice and incorporated. So let me finish that. I'm not quite ready to make the cake yet, so I got some ice. And I'm gonna set my bowl in the ice water, and just maybe for about 10 minutes. I want to get it a little bit firm. It's kind of a little bit drippy right now, so I'm gonna leave that sit just to get it cooled down for probably about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna ice the cake. So I took, I had a wax paper separating my layers after I took it out the freezer. Well, that's how I put it in the freezer. So I took it out, I could just lift it off, put that to the side. The wax paper on the bottom, I kind of cut it. I left it, but it's sitting on a little piece of wax paper. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put icing on the top of the cake first and the sides, and then I'm gonna put the layer on top. So let me get this first one done. All right, got the first layer done. Like I said, I'm by no means a professional cake decorator, but I guarantee it's gonna be good. So that's the first one. Now the second one, I'm not sure if I want to invert it, because if I invert it, I'm gonna have a flat top, because the bottom of this cake is real flat. So I think I'm gonna try to invert it. So let me get that figured out, how I'm gonna do that. Well, check it out. I didn't have to invert. It was pretty easy. I just held it in my hand, and once I put it on top, I just took the wax paper off. And I just want to make sure it's nice and centered before I start icing it. I think it got to come over a little bit. I think we're good now. So let me go ahead and ice that layer up. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a professional cake baker. I took my knife and I kind of like made some little swirls on top. Figured out, being I can't get it perfectly smooth, I might as well just make it swirls that way. It didn't look like I tried to make it perfectly smooth. So do it however you want. Got my sides pretty much done. So now we'll go ahead and sprinkle some crushed pecans on top. Actually, I'm gonna blend them up in my food processor. Not too many, just a little bit. Went ahead and chopped my little pack of pecans. I'm not sure how, I'll put how many ounces it was, but I don't think I'm gonna use all this. And now basically we're just gonna sprinkle the pecans on top of the cake, and I'm gonna try to get a little bit on side the cake too. So I might make a little bit of a mess, because I'm gonna probably like throw it from the sides, you know, to kind of make it stick to it. But not too much. I mean, you don't want to cover it completely. You just want a nice little, some nice crumpled pecans on top. And I'm gonna do the sides next. And I think for the sides, I'm gonna just kind of get on the side of it here. And I mean, you don't have to, but I'm gonna just kind of throw it on like that. Just kind of make it stick, and whatever drops off, I'm gonna just wipe up. So something like that. Let me get that done. Well, I think I was pretty successful in my decorating. Now you really can't see how bad I iced the cake. I got pecans on it. I kind of forgot about that. I was putting pecans after. But yeah, there you go, carrot cake. I know it's delicious. My neighbor makes them all the time, and this is her recipe. So this is a very easy to make carrot cake, my first time, and should be very delicious. This is for a party, so I'm not going to cut it, but I mean, take my word for it. This is a very good carrot cake. You'll be very impressed. The secret is to freezing it at least 24 hours, you know, freeze it. And when it defrosts, the cake becomes like super, super moist. And then you go ahead and ice it. So yeah, I cleaned my track out. I left some of the bits of pecans on the bottom. It just makes it look nice, I think. And I'm gonna just put my cover on it and I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator.